Most life that end up on land are nothing more than corpses, being pushed onto land by the current. The creatures that do end up on land alive don't arrive there on their own volition. No, these creatures are seemingly thrown. The culprit, a small adolescent carver. This individual seems agitated and stressed, finding a fascinating way to deal with the torment. You might not immediately see it, but these creatures are descendants from the slow, cucumber-shaped and blind Q. They might be free meals to most, but this clade of Q hasn't been preyed on for millions of years. This creature has truly earned its place on top of the intertidal zone food chain. Its eyes, however, are still nowhere to be found. Q used its many tongues to push food into its mouth, guiding it towards its stomach. They found that by clicking some of these tongues against the side of their mouth, the sound this clicking made would come back stronger and stronger. Echolocation. Pretty handy to develop. Many of these creatures grew. The gigantic moa are widespread and diverse. They are so massive that predators don't even try to attack them, causing these creatures to take up the role of gigantic filter feeders. They have no real need in mobility or fast speeds, so have reduced the size of their flippers to make them slowly glide through the waters. Their slow speed have made them popular with many small creatures that can latch onto their massive bodies, covering distances far greater than they themselves can. Hence why you can still see predators circle these giants, not to prey on the moa, but to pick off the creatures that have latched themselves onto them. Suddenly, the gigantic creature halts itself. Its ticking seems to grow louder, even increasing in tempo. A big, outstretched field of seaweed flows beautifully in sync with each other. The moa, however, turns to swim around this seaweed patch. A young group of drill that hitched along detach themselves from the moa, the tasty seaweed being the end stop for these hungry travelers. This would be their first and final trip. The moa stopped for a reason. Echolocation reveals even the best hidden things, the most camouflaged. As they arrive and start to enjoy the tasty pockets of seaweed, some of the seaweed seems to be uneven to the rest, flowing slightly less natural. Before they can react, giant seaweed-looking tentacles grab the helpless drill, twisting their long tentacles around the creatures, pushing these drill towards the mouth that emerges from under the seafloor. Echolocation comes natural to most of these creatures, but some do need a little practice. Luckily, our annoyed carver won't have tentacles crushing it to death if it makes a mistake. This individual is trying to find pods that have buried themselves into the soft ocean floor if they sense danger nearby. This carver sadly keeps hunting rocks. In an annoyed-filled rage, it picks up a nearby larva, which is normally safe with the poisonous tusk covering its body. This mantra is, however, not planning to ingest this poor creature. Taking the larva into its back two flippers, the mantra swims towards the surface and, with its strong back flipper, thrusts the poor creature into the air. Seemingly satisfied, the carver returns into the waters to continue its search. The tusk, in their own panic, dislodge themselves off of the larva and fall onto the floor. As many adolescent carvers hunt in these shallow waters, a lot of tusk end up on the beach. Luckily, some land in the waters, near enough to the surface that slowly but surely they make their way onto land. These new plants, foil, finally ditch the dittery way of producing and now spread their seeds by dispersing gamma all around itself. But as time passes, these plants finally form into land-dwelling flora. During this time of evolution, a few hungry carvers would go onto land to search for any remaining larvae that... Wait, what the f***?